Issues in football burn with passion, especially when fiery Italian managers are concerned. But is there something darker going on at Arsenal? And can another German team please beat Bayern Munich? We're putting football to the torch, here on The Burning Issue. They bring passion and style, which translates well beyond their homelands. Why are Italian managers so good? Following Chelsea's 2016-17 Premier League victory, the question was raised, what goes on with Italian managers? Less than 12 months after signing with the Blues, Antonio Conte's Midas touch returned England's top-flight trophy to Stamford Bridge. It was magic that club stars Diego Costa and David Luiz were keen to lock away for themselves and not share with anyone else. Appropriate, because Inter Milan reportedly approached Conte with a cheeky offer of £12.5 million a year for him to return to his mother country. Only a season earlier, the Premier League's most lovable manager, Claudio Ranieri, had steered Leicester City to the most unlikely of league victories. Compatriot and fellow maestro, Massimiliano Allegri, who only a week after Chelsea's win snatched the Serie A title with Juventus, gave a salute.
Congratulations to Antonio Conte for what he has done. It was not easy to be in a new and foreign league and win the title straight away.
So how did Conte achieve such swift success? In Chelsea press conferences, he seems placid, using a language other than his own. But his volatile temperament is famous, and he doesn't apologize.
I'm a passionate man, and for this reason, I'm not able to keep my emotion. And yeah, and I know that is strange, but I'm this.
He has fire in the belly, but that's what happens when you're all heart. More on Conte's winning formula after the break. While Antonio Conte is known to be fiery at times, the Italian manager also has a particular genuineness with regards to his players. Conte stepped down as Italy's national coach after Euro 2016 because he missed the daily interaction with his players in a club environment. What a softie. He also showed tremendous intuition to adapt tactically from a model that had brought him 3 Serie A titles with Juventus to the nuances of Chelsea.
When you arrive in a new team, a coach arrives in a new team, it's important to have the time to understand the right characteristic and above all to study the right suite for the team.
You've also got to hand it to the man for his sense of humour. When he took over at Chelsea, bets were apparently placed on how long it would take for him to be sacked.
Fantastic. I'm trying to find who put the money. Yeah, but it's very difficult, this. It's very difficult. I take this with a smile, yeah.
Who's laughing now? Allegri pointed out that it wasn't just Conte and Ranieri who could turn a foreign team into something bellissimo.
Many Italians have won abroad. Ancelotti is the king. He has succeeded everywhere.
Carlo Ancelotti's CV speaks for itself. A Serie A title with Milan, Premier League title with Chelsea, and the 2016-17 Bundesliga title with Bayern Munich. He's also managed to claim Champions League titles with 2 different clubs, twice with Milan and once with Real Madrid. But with all this acclaim, Ancelotti is also one of the most brutalised. In 2001, while at Juventus, Carlo was tapped at half-time during the final Serie A game of the season and told he was sacked. In 2011, only a year after becoming the first manager to nab the Premier League and FA Cup double with Chelsea, declining performance saw him sacked in a corridor. Then only a season after guiding Real Madrid to its 10th Champions League victory, he was shafted for, well, for no apparent reason. You could forgive Carlo for becoming a little gun-shy over the years. Even after securing Bayern Munich's 5th straight Bundesliga title in 2017, he was more worried about what he hadn't achieved. With Bayern's exit from the Champions League a few weeks earlier, then from the DFB Pokal, Ancelotti wasn't getting overly excited with the Bundesliga win.
We had a strong motivation to play this game. And at the end, we win this title that is really important for us. We are really happy, and I want to say thanks to my club first, to my players, and to my supporters.
Perhaps Ancelotti is particularly aware of an old Italian saying, "A caval donato non si guarda in bocca." Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. While these Italian stallions have amassed enormous success, Allegri also pointed to the broader forces at play.
Have Italian managers done more than others? First of all, the Italian school system is a very good one. We have a very good football tradition and culture. This is proved by the number of World Cups that Italy have won.
Those World Cups came in 1934 on home soil, then backed up in France in 1938. The Italians also lifted the cup in Spain in 1982, where the great Paolo Rossi won the Golden Ball Award for Player of the Tournament, and in 2006 when they beat France in the final. Passion, heartache and style run deep and proud in Italian culture and Italian football. No surprise that this fertile soil also reaps great managers. Their numbers become legend, something for the next generation to dream of inheriting. So is it right that jerseys are retired? Famous names come and go. Some leave an indelible mark on the fabric of a club. They become a cult figure in its history. But what of a number? It can be so much a part of a player, and a player so much a part of that number. Some live on, while others have been laid to rest to honour the memories created by those who held it close to their chest. Well, back. But when champions retire, should their shirts or jerseys be retired with them? The issue came to prominence again with the retirement of the King of Roma, Francesco Totti, after 25 years in the number 10. Totti's Roma coach, Luciano Spalletti, launched a sentimental and passionate view as to why Totti's 10 should not be sent to the graveyard.
Deve continuare a vivere quel numero 10 col quale Totti ha fatto queste grandi.
The number 10 must live on, with which Totti played so well. This is just my opinion. I can't stand hearing people today saying we should retire his jersey. For those who want to play wearing Totti's shirt, the kid who has sweated and deserves to wear it, then what target would that be for a youngster? Do we really want to deprive him of that pleasure?
Quale traguardo sarebbe per un bambino? Gli vogliamo togliere questa soddisfazione?
Some clubs have retired jerseys for life, others for just a year or two, as a mark of respect before handing it to the next bright prospect. But if you're all for jersey retirements, this is as good as it gets. Milan hero Paolo Maldini told the club in no uncertain terms when he hung up the boots in 2009 that no one but his children were to wear his famed number 3 jersey. You might think that's placing an awful lot on his offspring, but don't fret though, Paolo's got a plan. This must not put pressure on them, he said. No matter how many times you say it, Paolo, we still think they're feeling the heat. We wonder if Mum is just as ambitious as Dad. West Ham captain Bobby Moore's number 6 was retired 15 years after his death. Odd, yes? Especially when it's someone of such club significance, and national significance for that matter.
And besides the trophy itself, there's a mini-cup for skipper Bobby Moore, who's led his team to one of the most tremendous triumphs, not only in his team's history, but in the whole history of British football.
And then there was the man who revolutionised the way football was played, and jersey numbers themselves. Dutch champion Johan Cruyff was the first to wear a number outside the traditional 1 to 11 and had his famed number 14 retired in 2007, 24 years after his final match with Ajax and 9 years before he died. When he passed away in 2016, he left a significant void in the hearts of many, but he will always be remembered as the one to grace the famed number 14. But for those whose numbers are gone, there are many more legends of the sport whose numbers are still going strong. Just imagine if Manchester United had retired George Best's magic number 7. What would Eric Cantona, David Beckham, and Cristiano Ronaldo have worn? Brazil maestro Ronaldo or France's Zinedine Zidane similarly have not had their famous numbers consigned to history. There's no blanket rule, but look no further than the emotive responses of Cruyff's fans. If there was ever a reason to have someone's jersey number retired, transcending the sport would have to be it. Certainly, Cruyff was more than football. It's sometimes hard to fathom why some numbers are no longer with us, while others continue to live on. But until we get a glimpse internally of the profound impact certain players have had on their club's legacy and culture, we might never know the answer to that question. Up next, it's Uncanny, football lookalikes. Are these guys brothers from different mothers, or were they separated at birth? The two-finger salute has become his trademark. When he walks down the street, his adoring public hassle him for selfies. Mothers want photos of him with their babies. It's only when he tries anything with a ball you realise this Lionel Messi is not the guy he used to be. Of course, it's Reza Paratesh, the Iranian Messi lookalike who came to world attention when police had to disperse crowds who had gathered in Tehran, thinking little Leo had dropped in for a clinic. Reza, 25, got his big break when the real Messi grew that dreadful beard. And people started noticing how much they looked alike. It got us thinking about other football twins. And the first one was another Messi lookalike, which, when you think about it, is not so surprising. It's just that Leo does look eerily like his mum, Celia Maria Cuccettini. Then there's Karim Benzema, a dead ringer for the somewhat quirky actor Shia LaBeouf. And Michael Ballack with the boyish good looks of Matt Damon. Roma's manager Luciano Spalletti and sporting director Monchi might not look like each other, but they certainly share the same stylist. And British actor and writer Stephen Merchant would be perfect to play the part of Jurgen Klopp in the movie about modern Liverpool triumphs, although it would be a very short movie. And what about the Middlesbrough defender Fabio? He bears an incredible resemblance to the Lyon defender Raphael. And they are both Brazilians. Yes, and twins. Of course, football isn't the only arena where doppelgangers cash in. It happens even in politics, where the President of the United States is mimicked by this embarrassing imposter. Oops, sorry, we may have got those clips out of order. Injuries are a fact of life in football. But some poor sods get knocked around so often it makes you wonder, are they born under a bad sign? Argentine international Sergio Aguero has had a career any young aspirant would dream of, amassing a Premier League title and League Cup with Manchester City, and over 80 Argentina caps. But while Aguero has attracted success, he's also attracted injuries. So frequent are Sergio's woes that when he hobbled off the pitch with a groin complaint during a draw with Middlesbrough in April 2017, it had City fans in a panic, with the top four battle running hot. Turns out it was merely a niggle, and Aguero was back on the pitch 2 weeks later. When you glance at Sergio's track record, it's easy to understand the faithful's anxiety. It's not like most injuries were the result of targeted malice. Aguero is often the victim of wear and tear, notably a hamstring tweak that saw him out for over a month, sustained while chasing down Gabriel Achillier during Argentina's 2015 World Cup qualifying loss to Ecuador. Phil Jones's luck is so bad, a darn toe injury sustained during a Manchester United training session put him out of action for a month and a half in 2017. The toe, which to be fair was broken, came not long after recovering from knee ligament damage that put him out for almost 2 months. By the time he returned in May 2017, Jones had missed a combined 634 days of action. Jones's fellow Red Devil, Luke Shaw, is another young player seemingly born jinxed. During Man United's 2015 Champions League loss to PSV Eindhoven, Shaw broke his tibia in 2 places thanks to an horrific tackle from Hector Moreno that put him out for 51 games. When he finally returned to the squad in July 2016, he was candid about his headspace during the time.
There was a fear of how long it was going to take or if I was even going to be back playing football.
Only 3 months after returning, though, Shaw suffered a severe groin injury that put him out for another 2 months. A foot injury during a 1-1 draw with Swansea in April 2017 was just the latest chapter in a cursed young career. By the time Shaw was only 21, he had missed a combined 507 days, or 84 matches. Perhaps the sorriest mug of the lot, though, is midfielder Jack Wilshere. Apart from brief loans to Bolton and Bournemouth, Wilshere has been part of the furniture at Arsenal throughout his career. PFA Young Player of the Year in 2010-11, he was Arsenal's youngest ever debutant in 2008 at 16 years old. Former Barcelona and Spain midfielder Xavi once identified Wilshere as having the potential to become Europe's best midfielder, which is tragic because so frequent are Jack's injuries, he's almost spent more time off the field than on. See, when Wilshere gets injured, he goes big. Out for 100-plus days on 4 occasions, his most crushing blow was a 47-game resting due to a hairline crack in his shin bone, suffered in 2016. Wilshere was loaned to Bournemouth in 2017 in a bid to regain some form, but the pesky hairline crack returned to haunt him. Before the age of 25, Wilshere amassed an astonishing 901 days in recovery from some kind of injury. Oh yeah, did we mention Jack spent almost his entire career at Arsenal? While the players we've looked at here seem cursed individually, it's widely believed there's a moz hanging over the Gunners. Spooky stuff aside, questions need to be asked about management of player welfare, and that points the finger at Arsene Wenger. Wenger has come under fire more than once for pushing his players beyond safe thresholds, especially regarding fitness on return from injury, but he persistently denies any wrongdoing.
I follow the instructions of the medical staff and of the player, and after I make my decision, if they declare him capable to play and he declares himself capable to play. I never forced in my whole life any player to play, you know, and never demanded anybody to be injected to play. If a player says he's 100%, after I make my decision, do I play him or not? But the suggestions that we push him to play when he's not fit are completely wrong.
Arsene, while you claim the welfare of your players is paramount, some of them might beg to differ. Let's have a look at some of the worst hit. Laurent Koscielny, more than 240 days out between 2010 and 2017. Santi Cazorla's ankle surgery and 200 days off took his career total north of 470. And Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, almost 500 days from 2012 to 2017. Whatever Wenger claims about his injury management strategies, these guys are among many other unlucky souls to suffer at Arsenal over the years. No doubt, the above-mentioned miserable sods have had disastrous runs, and maybe that's because one jammy dodger stole all their luck. Zlatan Ibrahimovic seems to have found the fountain of youth at some point in his career, shining for Manchester United in his mid-30s, just as he promised he would when signing with them in 2016. When asked what his secret was, Zlatan responded, "I feel like Benjamin Button. I was born old and will die young." That is until Zlatan's fountain of youth ran out of water and he suffered a gnarly double knee injury in April 2017. It had manager Jose Mourinho confessing,
I know, but we are in trouble. We are in trouble.
Zlatan, you have defied aging to some extent, but you jinxed yourself with that growing younger call. Still to come, yes, Bayern are brilliant, but have they won so many Bundesliga titles that it's starting to get boring? They're a club that divides opinion. If you're a fan, well, fantastic. If not, you either marvel at their prowess or yearn for the day where their era of dominance ends. Hang on, was that yearn or yawn? The undisputed force of German football, Bayern Munich has claimed almost half the Bundesliga titles since the competition's inception in 1963. Boring, right? We're not for a moment suggesting they're alone. While other top sides across Europe have enjoyed periods of dominance, none have been as lopsided as Germany. Even President Uli Hoeneß looks like he's over it. Bayern's main tactic is to lure opposition stars from rivals getting a little too close for comfort, which Borussia Dortmund knows all about. Dortmund manager Thomas Tuchel lamented towards the end of the 2016-17 season that Bayern had bought captain Mats Hummels in July the year before for 35 million euros, just one of many irreverent poachings by the behemoth. Throughout the history of the Bundesliga, Bayern has cultivated a mammoth advantage in goal difference. More than 250 wins separates Bayern from their nearest challenger, while the gaps between the clubs that follow are much tighter. To give an indication of this burgeoning divide, the first 13 games of 2015-16, Bayern could have conceded every opposition shot on target and still remained atop the table. Maybe if they played without a keeper, it would make things interesting. In all seriousness, though, can someone just beat them? Surely it's not good for German football, or even for Bayern for that matter. With the consistent ease they clinch titles, is it leaving the German giant ill-equipped for Champions League tilts? Their quarter-final loss in 2017 to Real Madrid, a stark contrast to the dominance in their own league, was indicative of the issue. Of the 10 times they've appeared in the final, They've won it 5 times, but it's still less than half the titles Real Madrid owns. But there comes a point where if you are so strong, the measurement for success must rise. Of their own league, former player Lothar Matthäus says it best. It's too easy. They have no serious competitors. Anyway, while they assess their European shortfalls, perhaps someone could please figure out a way to knock Bayern off their perch. And while they're at it, would they mind shutting up manager Carlo Ancelotti?